afternoon and welcome to the Friday edition of The Pulse. I am Ahiafor Akosi-Aditi. We're coming to you live from our studios here in Kukumlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 125 and across the world on myjoyonline.com. Coming up this afternoon, Chairman of Parliament's Appointments Committee, Bernard Ahiafor, dismisses the petition against Justice Ackaah-Boafo's Supreme Court nomination as frivolous, vexatious, baseless, and abusive process. And as well, we've got more as Justice Ackaah-Boafo backs the call for a new legislation for electronic paneling at the Supreme Court. Still on The Pulse, we shall take you live over there where my colleague James Aveji is on standby to bring us the latest. And we'll bring you update on Mpox as Western region becomes epic center for Mpox disease in Ghana as the region records 43 out of the country's 107 confirmed cases so far. And again on The Pulse, the 2025 EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair mini clinic opens today at the Achimota Retail Center. We shall show you on display here on The Pulse and as well speak to some of the vendors on the discount that awaits you when you visit the Achimota Retail Center. Now, what lies ahead for the Ghana Journalists Association as it prepares to elect new national officers? Who is in the race? And what do they offer? What do they bring to the table? Join me live here on The Pulse as I speak with presidential aspirant Charles Yao Mausi. We've got this and many coming up here on The Pulse. The Pulse always is brought to you by Different Cough Expectorant. Different breathe easy, feel better. Again, I am Ahiafor Akosi-Aditi, and thank you always for choosing us. It's a Friday. Sit and relax. Let's get into it. We'll start with the Parliament's Appointments Committee, which has dismissed the petition against Supreme Court nominee Justice Ackaah-Boafo, delivering the committee's ruling, which delayed the nominee's vetting for over a day. Chairman Bernard Ahiafor described the petition as frivolous, vexatious, unmeritorious, and an abuse of process.
In the view of the petitioner, His Lordship Justice Ackaah-Boafo should not be considered for nomination and appointment to the Supreme Court. The committee, after due consideration and careful reading of the petition as well as the judgment, came into a conclusion that the allegation contained in the petition that the judge has insulted and attacked the petitioner is completely unfounded. Furthermore, by a judgment dated 22nd June 2023, and entitled Ad hoc Servia Ghana Limited, represented by Anthony Raoul, the petitioner herein, versus Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority. The petitioner had appealed against the said judgment of the High Court, presided over by Justice Ackaah-Boafo, to the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal, in suit number H1/10/2023, dated 22nd June 2023, delivered judgment on the issues, having considered the totality of the evidence and the judgment. The Appointment Committee cannot therefore be constituted into the Supreme Court and Judicial Council to review the judgment of the Court of Appeal and take disciplinary action respectively. We are of the view that all issues raised in the petition has been appropriately dealt with by the court. Honourable members, the petitioner furnished the committee through the clerk additional documents. The committee duly considered the additional document and realized that it was a petition by the same petitioner alleging corruption against one Charles Aidan, Deputy Director of Finance of the Judicial Service, addressed to the Chief Justice on 26 April 2021. the Chief Justice investigated the matter and found no wrongdoing against Charles Adam, the Deputy Director of Finance, and accordingly communicated his findings to the petitioner therein, who is also the petitioner herein. The additional documents have no nexus to the petition he wrote to the appointment committee and have nothing to do with the nominee before us. We therefore see no reason why a petition and findings involving Charles Adam, the Deputy Director of Finance, could be admitted and used as evidence against the nominee, His Lordship Justice Ackaah-Boafo, since the documents have nothing to do with him.
Well, let's cross over to the committee room to speak to my colleague James Aveji, who's been there all day. James, help us understand what the details of this particular ruling is.
So we have understand from the committee chair from that ruling that, in fact, there are multiple issues that the petitioner raised in that petition. The first two are about a case he brought before the judge when he served at the High Court somewhere in 2019. The case came to the court in 2017, and then he gave his ruling in 2019. And so from that petition, the things he cited in that petition, for which reason he said he felt abused and that the judge engaged in some judicial misconduct, were actually some quotations the judge did from a letter he tendered in as evidence during the prosecution of that case. As for the details of the case, we do not know, but per what we've gleaned on so far, what it means is that the judge referenced words of materials that were tendered in as evidence as part of the prosecution of the case. And that is the reason why the committee believes that those cannot be attributed to him and that it does not find favor in the eyes of the committee. What we also understand is that after that High Court ruling, the petitioner again sent the ruling to the Court of Appeals, where he sought for redress on the matter. The court again ruled on the issue, upholding the initial High Court judgment. And so those are the two cases. It is in this sense that the committee believes that if you look at the provisions of the Constitution, it gives immunity to judges in the conduct of their duties. And so in that case, the judge hasn't done anything wrong to merit his call against his appointment and vetting to the Supreme Court. The other leg is about when he was invited to speak to the petition, he provided other petitions he had filed against a director of finance at the Judicial Service, on which the Chief Justice looked into and cleared that director of any wrongdoing. And so it is in this sense, all of this, the committee has looked at to arrive at the pronouncement that his petition is frivolous, it is vexatious in the words of the chairman, and unmeritorious in the eyes of the law. And so those are the different legs to the petition that private individual Anthony Kwabena Raul has presented to the committee. MFA.
James, that's very detailed. Let's move on to some of the things that he's been addressing. Now, Justice Ackaah-Boafo fought back the assertion that people only become corrupt when they join the judiciary. What's his argument?
Exactly. So that's one of the issues that the minority leader in ranking on the committee, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, has been seeking his view on, about a conversation on how the reputation of the judiciary is declining in the eyes of the public. There are allegations or assertions of members of the court, either judges or lawyers, being corrupt and all of that. And his view has been that it cannot be the case for everybody to conclude that it is judges or lawyers, when they move to the bar, that they become corrupt. And so it's about time we expand the conversation. He's not rejecting the assertion or accepting it, but he thinks that if that is the case, then there is something fundamentally wrong with our society as a whole. And so we need to raise the conversation about our moral fiber and really look at our society to see what we can fix about the society to address some of these issues. And so it can also be the case that, other public workers, don't want to mention anyone in particular to set an example to become an issue. And so, we need to address the moral fabric of our society in order to fix this if we really want to fix it. That was his position on that matter.
Occupation of a judge work must be attractive. There are many lawyers who may desire to be judges, but if you join the bench and after 6 months you've not been paid because your name has not gone on the system, within that 6 months of your service, how are you supposed to support yourself? So let's make the job attractive. As we speak, my beloved Bogoso has a court yet to be inaugurated, and I'm sure the people there are yearning to have a judge. But if people are not willing to join the bench because the package is not attractive, speak with those on the lower benches, their situation is not the best. So let's make the job attractive, and I think we'll be able to have the best of the brains to join the bench for the benefit of our nation. Thank you.
Right, so James, what did he say about the expansion of legal education in the country? I'm certain that many legal students will be interested in this.
You have also monitored this in the last few days, and that has been the crust of the questioning. I want to bet that it has been posed to all of the 7 nominees that the Parliament has been vetting so far. That question, for those who may not know, is coming at the back of current moves by some private individuals. Top among them is Roxy Nelson Dapamakpo, who is a lawyer as well as the whip on the majority in Parliament, about the need to expand legal education so that we take the monopoly from the Ghana School of Law to other law faculties in the various universities who offer the LLB courses. He delved into the archives and pulled out some data. He said from the data he's got from the Judicial Council, as well as even the Ghana School of Law itself, indicates that as we speak, we have about one citizen to one lawyer to about 2,000 citizens, as in the lawyer to citizen ratio, with which he believes that there are inadequate lawyers. He said we have lawyers, practicing lawyers, in the region of about 50,000, he said. And so based on that, he's making the call, he's supporting the move to expand legal education so that we can improve the lawyer to citizen ratio in order to make legal right accessible to individuals who would want to test the court on varied issues. And so he supports the call and the move to expand the legal education in order to bridge that gap that is existing between lawyers and the citizen as a whole.
James, I wish I could be a fly in the rooms of all law students who are watching and listening to that. But let's listen to that first, and then we'll continue with the conversation.
It's in Ghana, because if you look at our population, then you have about 2,000 people to a lawyer. If I compare it to Ontario, in 2020, the Ontario population is 14-point-something million, with over 56,000 lawyers, which will be about 1 to about 1,700. So to that extent, no, there are not many lawyers in Ghana. So I think that something ought to be done. What should be done it's for something for discussion. And you asked me what should be done. I mean, at this stage, we know that the Ghana School of Law that train lawyers. There has been conversation that the institutions that train the LLBs should be allowed to do the professional. I will hasten to add that we need to be very careful how we do that. Because if many of the LLB schools producing candidates, the question to be asked is, do they have the requisite material and the qualified lecturers to teach there? Because let me say this. If you produce, let's say, 100 graduates, and they write the entrance exam as it exists now, and you don't have more than 10 people passing, then I think there's something wrong. So yes, we should enlarge it, but we should be very careful because after LLB, somebody must do pupillage. Do we have qualified chambers to train the lawyers who will qualify? If we have over 8,000 lawyers and there are only about 1,200 registered chambers, there will be a problem. But yes, there's a need to enlarge the number, but it's a conversation that should be had deeply and without any emotions.
Well, James, what about the conversation on the regional tribunals? What did he say?
It's another call he supports, just that he said he does not understand why a lot of people are afraid of the activation of these regional tribunals. We know that the Constitution makes provision for that, but since the inception of the 1992 Constitution, those regional tribunals have not been set up. They do not work as we speak. This government is making the move to activate them. He said he supports that on the grounds that he believes they are coming into existence in order to fast-track criminal trials, especially in order to expedite judicial justice and delivery in the country.
All right, James. So again, finally, before I let you go, Justice Ackaah-Boafo also really touched on the need for an independent police commission to review and sanction police misconduct. You want to give us details on that?
Exactly. So the ranking member, Afenyo-Markin, talked about the fact that about the incidents that occur sometimes when influential people in the society use the police to do their bidding, where they only place the police on call sometimes and they go ahead to effect arrests of persons even before the police themselves begin investigation into the alleged conduct of such suspects, and how it is bringing about police misconduct and also degrading the public trust in the police system. Again, about the fact that the police also, act hasty action even before commencing investigations into matters. They arrest such persons, detain them unduly before they put them before court. That's when he believes that in order to address this, his support calls that has been coming over the years for an independent police commission who would look into such police misconduct, review them, and provide appropriate sanction to police officers who are caught in such webs to deter others. That's the only way he believes that we can use to cleanse the police system and get rid of officers who allow themselves to be influenced and used for unjust cause, especially by influential people in society, all ending up on the infringement of the rights of private citizens.
Right, James, so I know that at the end of the entire vetting, the chairman of the committee had a word for, he addressed them. What did he say?
Well, we approached him on the basis of the ruling. My interest was to know whether they have been able to invite the individual in question to at least hear from him before they arrive at the decision, he established that this ruling has been the committee's unanimous ruling. It's not a matter of minority against majority. There's two sides of the committee took the decision to rule the petition out based on the fact that has been presented, as we talked about earlier, and that the judge did no wrong in the issues that the private citizen raised. And again, they have invited him. He acknowledged their invites and informed them that he will be providing some more evidence to support his case. That is when he provided evidence about the document about a similar petition he raised against a director of finance at the Judicial Service, which the committee realized that the case was looked into by the Chief Justice, and a conclusion has been reached that the one he alleged to have involved himself in a misconduct didn't do so, and so the Chief Justice clearing the accused person. And so they have heard from him adequately before arriving at this conclusion. So there need not be the notion that they look at only the petition, on the face of the petition, without hearing from him before arriving at a conclusion. Those are the additional details he's been providing, that even there are some words he used in that petition that he vehemently objected to, which need not be put into the petition. And so for which reason they arrive at the conclusion they arrive at today, allowing him to go through the vetting process. As we know, with the vetting coming to a conclusion, the committee will have to take a final decision. If all of these persons are approved, they will send the decision to plenary, Parliament will debate on it, and then when Parliament approve any of them bearing any objection by a member of the committee or even the minority, the 7 would have to go through finally to the Supreme Court. So that's the explanation, or the more information he's been given on what has transpired so far.
Together, laid on the floor of Parliament. Copies will be distributed to members, and then we take the motions leading to the adoption of the motion, and then the consequential approval of the judges or disapproval of the judges by the House.
Chairman, in your personal view, what do you make of the responses by the nominees?
Well, I am not to judge the responses of the nominees, but it is for the entire House to judge the responses of the nominee.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But on the issue of the petition,
yes,
you've thrown it out. I mean, earlier there were rumors and all of that. It was one of the vetting that came with high stakes. Just
I perfectly believed that those who were predicting the committee throwing out the petition have some legal knowledge, and any person guided by all those considerations that regulate the conduct of human affairs with a little legal knowledge, looking at the petition and the reference, will come to a conclusion that the petition is frivolous, is vexatious, is unmeritorious, is worthless, it is baseless in law and the facts. So clearly, without even giving a hearing, you will realize that there is absolutely no merit in the petition. Why do I say so? When a procedure is set down for a right to be exercised, you must follow that particular procedure in exercising your right. You took a matter to court in the name of a company and exhibited letters, and the court, in delivering judgment, make reference to your own document that you have exhibited in court. If the document you've exhibited in court includes insults, and the judge quoted the insult, is he emanating from the judge? Can he amount to the judge attacking you? I think your guess is as good as mine.
Just
The procedure is clear that if a judge gives judgment and you are dissatisfied with the judgment of the court, you take it up with the Court of Appeal. If you are dissatisfied with the judgment of the Court of Appeal, you go to the Supreme Court. If you are dissatisfied with the judgment of the Supreme Court, then you apply for review. And beyond review, at the apex court, there is nothing that you can do again. In this particular case, the aspect of the judgment that he was aggrieved with, he took it up at the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court has made pronouncement on it since 2023. Therefore, how can the appointment committee be constituted into a Supreme Court to review the decision taken by the Court of Appeal? How on earth do you expect the appointment committee to use this judgment as a basis of saying that we are not going to vet the committee? Above all, the petition was against the nomination. Appointment committee doesn't nominate. We vet and recommend to the House in our report for approval. So if the petition is against the nomination and we are not the nominating authority, then ipso facto, we should even not be looking at this particular petition. But given the background, there is not everybody who knows about the position of the law. We have decided to look at the petition. You see, if you are dissatisfied about the conduct of a lawyer, you refer the conduct to the Disciplinary Committee of General Legal Counsel. If you are dissatisfied with the conduct of a judge, not disagreeing with the judgment, but with the judge's conduct, the Judicial Council is there. So the appointment committee cannot be constituted into a Judicial Council, you understand, to take disciplinary action against the nominee. Finally, the fact that a nominee was promoted by a political party forming government to the Court of Appeal doesn't mean that another political party cannot promote that particular judge on merit to the Supreme Court. So to say that the judge is a political prostitute is rather unfortunate. There are unpalatable languages used by the petitioner that personally I will not countenance. So the petition is out there. You can all look at the petition and see whether there is merit in the petition. He told the committee that he was going to produce a further document. We could have dealt with the issue since yesterday, but we waited for the further document. And the further document produced was to the effect that the same person who wrote the petition against His Lordship Justice Ackaah-Boafo was the same person.
Away from the Appointments Committee, the Electoral Commission is pushing back against accusations of negligence and financial loss over the reprinting of leaked ballot papers ahead of the 2024 elections. Just 6 days to the polls, the EC confirmed a ballot paper leak and swiftly recalled materials from the eastern and western regions, then re-awarding the printing contracts to Backpress and InnoLink. Appearing before Parliament, Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman Asare revealed the reprint cost over 6 million Ghana cedis. James Aveji has more in this report.
Deputy Commissioner for the Electoral Commission, Dr. Bosman Asare, appeared before Parliament to answer questions on two key things. One was some procurement issues on the eve of the elections as well as after the December 2024 elections, and two, on how far the EC has gone in the compilation of the Ablikma North constituency election results. Even before Dr. Bosman could take his seat, the MP, in whose name the question is, Roxanne Nelson Dapamakpo, objected to the Deputy EC appearing before the House to give answers in place of the substantive EC boss.
Mr. Speaker, so the heads are the heads. And the head of an independent constitutional body is the head. The deputies are not permissible under this provision. Mr. Speaker, I believe that we can make progress.
After the back and forth over the propriety of this, the Speaker ruled that the House constitutes itself into a committee of a whole to allow him to provide answers. On the issue of contracts awarded for the reprinting of leaked presidential and parliamentary ballot papers for both eastern and western regions, just 6 days to the elections, The EC Deputy Commissioner reveals that over 6 million Ghana cedis was spent on that, insisting that there's not been any procurement breaches in the award of that contract.
2024 general elections, presidential, the cost, 3,621,281 cedis and 30 pesos. The date of award of the contract, 24th December 2024. And this was for the 7th December elections, the reprinting of ballots for the eastern and western regions. The next one, 2024 general elections, parliamentary, the cost, 2,442,329 cedis and 59 pesos. The date of award, 24th December 2024. For the 7th December 2024 general the parliamentary elections, for reprinting of ballots for the eastern and western regions. There was no breach of the procurement law. There was no breach. The commission wrote to the CTRC on 2nd December, and the elections were supposed to take place on 7th December. In the response by the CTRC, they indicated that we wrote to them on the 2nd of December. And before we printed the ballots, we wrote to the CTRC. So CTRC knew all the printing houses and the specific regions they were printing. So we didn't go to PPA. So it was only appropriate that when we had to redraw ballots for the eastern and central regions, we had to go back to the same organization that permitted us to engage these printing houses. So as far as we are concerned, there was no breach of the procurement law.
On the Ablikman North constituency coalition, which has stalled for over 6 months now, the last time the EC met the Election Security Task Force, the IGP COP Tatayohunu indicated that the police are ready, only waiting for the EC to provide them with a roadmap to finish the coalition process. But Dr. Bosman has indicated to Parliament that they are still waiting on the police to give them the go-ahead.
We haven't escalated it beyond the police, because in my response I indicated the police said they were getting advice. So we are waiting for them to write to us based on the advice for us to proceed. So we haven't done any escalation.
Parliament has therefore requested details of the procurement document in the award of those contracts. From Parliament House here in Accra, my name is James Savaji for Joy News.
You're watching The Pulse. Now, the Inspector General of Police has ordered a raid on illegal miners destroying the Asino Forest Reserve, the same area where 4 multimedia journalists were assaulted last year while documenting the devastation. Though it's unclear if they have been arrested or the suspects are linked to that incident, 4 individuals have been detained and 4 excavators seized. The reserve has faced relentless destruction since 2023. And in 2024, armed men allegedly working for Adult Petroleum Resources Limited abducted and assaulted journalists investigating the illegal mining. The forest, once part of a reclamation project, has suffered severe damage with planted trees destroyed and the tributaries as well of the Ankobra River polluted. We've got Erastus on phone to give us more details. Erastus, what's the current update of this?
As you said in your lead, it is true that this is the same area close to the Esumenya community where we went, if you remember, late last year. And we were abducted, taken to a different location and assaulted by armed thugs belonging to the company that is working there. And in fact, since then, the area has come under intense attack by illegal miners in the area. So it is welcoming news that this afternoon the Inspector General of Police has ordered a raid on that part of the forest, the Asino Forest Reserve. And so far, they've been able to stop the activities of these miners. 4 of them have been arrested. 4 excavators have been seized. Other equipment have also been seized. And as we speak, they are still in the area conducting operations.
I mean, Erastus, I mean, this story definitely will bring you memories. I mean, today you're telling me that, well, it's refreshing to know, but what kind of memories does it bring to you?
So it comes to me directly what we were taking through, myself and three others, my camera technician, the drone guy, and the driver, who were severely assaulted by men who were destroying that particular forest. Today, it's not clear whether these are the same men, but then it also gives me a sigh of relief that at least somebody is doing something about it. When we reported it last year, it did not get or elicit a response from the authorities needed to do due diligence. And so it went unnoticed. The government of the day did not do anything at all about our reports that we brought out. And so I am happy that the IGP has taken it up. There are quite a number of them in that forest destroying it. And we are happy that he's raiding those camps.
Erastus, would you say that between last year and this year, the tributaries of that area has gone bad, or at least it's been reduced, the level of damage to it?
If you look at the drone footage that we brought, and you see the level of devastation to a forest that has been reclaimed and citronella trees planted, the trees had almost matured. And if you look at how they've uprooted them, miles of devastation you're seeing. And the fact that that even did not get the government of the day to step in to stop the devastation. More people have gotten into it, and now they are destroying that beautiful forest. You're talking about tributaries of the Ankobra that run through the Afenyo Forest Reserve. They are highly polluted, and as we speak, almost muddy in that particular area. So it also joins, you see, the Manso areas where Galami has really devastated those towns in that area. And so if something is not really done, like the IGP has started, it should come up with reclamation efforts to ensure that we save that forest once again. So
what we are quite unclear is that these persons who have been detained are part of the people that assaulted you.
It's not clear. And from the people who have been arrested, I don't recognize anybody from that time when we were assaulted. So I wouldn't know if these are members of the same group.
Thank you so much, Erastus. Now, still on Galami, governance expert Professor Ahiafor is calling for urgent introspection in Ghana's fight against illegal mining. He believes the real problem is not foreign nationals, but internal systems that enable collusion. According to him, there must be some kind of collusion with foreigners to destroy the environment, and is urging the state to review entry points that allow foreigners to collaborate with local actors to destroy the environment. This comment, or his comments, follow remarks by the Chinese ambassador to Ghana, Tong Defa, who has declared that Ghana cannot completely wipe illegal mining, locally known as Galami.
I do not know what's the reason why when people say Galami, they normally equals that with Chinese. But actually, it is not Chinese who, you know, the issue is not originated from Chinese. I mean, you can see those mining, Chinese people cannot get the license, cannot get the permit. It's the Ghanaian people who draw Chinese people over here, and some of those people who are even caught red-handed, even though they are caught red-handed, they are just, they're just some like migrant workers to come here to make a living. I'm not treated well because they always say, because I have a social media, when I posted X on my social media, then people say, hey, Ambassador, Galami, it seems, Galami is caused by China. So this is unfair to me. Am I correct? This is unfair to me. This is really unfair to me. And unfair to the overwhelming majority of Chinese. They have involved a lot of sectors. You can see, you can say, a lot of buildings built by Chinese companies, your roads built by Chinese companies, your port built by Chinese companies. But is any normal Ghanaian people know about this? Or even they know it, they always say Galami. They always say Galami.
There must be some kind of official collusion with whoever is the contractor to bring in these people. So in that respect, he is right. The problem is us, not the Chinese. That I think we must be serious.
We can now still hear from the governor's expert, Professor Ahiafor, who is calling for urgent introspection in the fight against illegal mining.
There must be some kind of official collusion with whoever is the contractor to bring in these people. So in that respect, he is right. The problem is us, not the Chinese. That I think we must take seriously. So those interested in combating these heinous atrocities against our environment must begin to focus on how we get these people into the country in the first place. Having said that, I think it's unfortunate that before the elections, there was a major push against Galamsey, insisting on certain legal changes to fight this menace. And I think my good friend Ken Ashibe had articulated, and now he's at the forefront. So 6 months or so into the new government, it's still worrisome that the issue seems to be intensified to the extent that if the latest report on Jaw is accurate, that Dr. Hanabisu has even been confronted by an official of the state, a police commander, then again, that suggests there's a certain official collusion in this whole process. And of course, the latest expose by Asaredonko, a champion of this fight, indicated that some big party officials are involved. So what is happening? It's sad. And I think, I don't know what the president should do. Look, we know that in many ways, as a country, we benefit from the exploration of gold. And the setting up of the gold board, for me, was perhaps an answer to this problem. But so far, we don't see much coming from that side. I know that they go around and arrest people who are handling gold illegally. They collect the gold. I'm sure they account for it officially somewhere. That's all I know. So I think this fight we need to re-strategize how we combat this fight. And the government must be bold. You see, the one reason many people say that led to the defeat of the previous government was because of its poor management of the Galamsey matter. Well, and I think to a large extent it's true. Yes.
Well, let's engage Dara Boso of Arocha, Ghana. More on this. Dara, thank you for joining us this afternoon. What's your reaction? And so, will the ambassador be right, and will Professor as well be right, that there is some form of collusion at least?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Dara, we can. Thank you.
Yes, also. Thank you very much for having me. I have always maintained that we have no right to actually blame anybody for the mess we find ourselves in. And if the Chinese ambassador is saying that they are not being treated fairly when we call them as the people responsible, I agree, because we are the people who are letting people in. We are the people who are letting our law enforcement agencies not to do the work that they are supposed to do. So if it is anybody that is at fault, then it's us. I think it's just easy target for you to go and blame another person for your own goals, when we know we are our own enemies and we are the ones destroying. And like you said, it is not the Chinese who have the opportunity to own concessions. It is Ghanaians who invite and who get the concessions for them to use and all of that. So I think they are right in saying that we shouldn't blame them. We should let our own laws work, because the truth is, everything that they are doing here, we cannot go to their country and do the same because they let their laws work for them. So I think that it's about time we own up to our own problems and deal with it.
Thank you so much, Dara. That was quite straight to the point. Yeah, so watching the polls and moving on, Ghana's democracy is failing its people. That's the blunt verdict from former Unilever executive and thought leader Yan Sako, who launched a scathing attack on the country's elite-driven political system during this year's humanities lecture at the Ghana Academy of Arts and Sciences. In an address titled Iniquities of Inequity in Our Santa Claus Democracy, Ms. Ackaah accused the ruling class of using democracy as cover for exclusion and enriching themselves while the majority remain trapped in poverty. There's more in this report.
Mass misery and the Santa Claus democracy. When a system of governance, any system at any level for that matter, degenerates de facto and principally into a high-cost, over-monetized, cyclical, and periodic series of elections, when things begin to resemble what Wole Soyinka famously and felicitously described as a public auction for the highest bidder, when, despite protests to the contrary by its protagonists, the perception of politics in the eyes of many ordinary people is that it is a ladder to illegitimate riches for a chosen few, a Santa Claus democracy emerges.
Now, yesterday was World Sickle Cell Day. To bring you some update, the executive director of the Ghana Foundation of Sickle Gene Action, Victoria Awochumesi, is calling for the Mahama-led administration to include full coverage of sickle cell treatment under the Mahama Care Initiative. Her appeal comes amid growing advocacy for expanded newborn screening nationwide. She made the call during a free sickle cell screening exercise for over 400 pupils of Akwebu Basic School in Dansoman, held as part of activities marking this year's World Sickle Cell Day.
It is marked globally as World Sickle Cell Day. This year's theme, Global Action, Local Impact, Empowering Communities for Effective Self-Advocacy, highlight the need to elevate the voices of those affected by the disease. In Ablekuma West, the Ghana Foundation for Sickle Gene Action held a free screening for hundreds of students at Akwebu Basic School, where patients and families shared emotional stories. Among them was George Jido, father of 17-year-old Caleb Jido, who has battled the condition since birth.
Caleb had his first stroke in 2011 when he was just 3 years old. Since then, he has had several episodes of strokes, seizures, and with extensive brain damage due to repeated strokes and convulsions. Caleb has had several blood transfusions, iron overload management, multiple surgeries, and numerous infections. As a result of this, Caleb is not able to go to school. He's not been able to do anything for himself. He needs a caregiver for him to be able to do his daily needs. Sickle cell disease means, to me, it means hospital bills. Whatever comes goes to hospitals. You either buying this medicine or paying for this treatment. That is how life has been for the past 14 years.
The acting superintendent of the Dansoma Polyclinic, Dr. Na Kola, says limited screening is undermining efforts to combat sickle cell disease.
At Dansoman Polyclinic, we do see about 1 in 100 patients would present with sickle cell. And we have sickle cell, SC, SS, the varied forms that we see. More commonly, those who come in crisis would be the SS genotypes. But we do also realize that this may be an underestimation, because generally people tend to come only when they are in crisis. We don't tend to see them a lot coming in for screenings unless you are lucky to get someone coming in for premarital screening.
The executive director of the Ghana Foundation for Sickle Gene Action, Victoria Awochumesi, who led free screening for over 400 students at Akwebu Basic School to mark World Sickle Cell Day, urged the government to fully absorb treatment costs under the Mahama Care and the National Health Insurance Program.
There's a huge burden of the disease on parents and families. So we're appealing to the government, particularly our president, John Dramani Mahama, and the Mahama Care Program, for them to adopt most of the care burden on families with sickle cell disease. They need the medication, which is hydroxyurea, is currently on healthcare insurance, but it's not always accessible in our facilities. So we need more to be done to make it available for parents to access the medication. The preventative testing and screenings, such as hydroxyurea to detect early signs of stroke, is not available on health insurance. So we need that to be taken on as well. blood transfusion, a huge part of sickle cell disease care. So we need the cost of burden of that to also be taken on, as well as the x-rays, blood tests, and all the associated treatments that oftentimes parents have to bear costs for when they are caring for somebody with sickle cell disease.
The Ablekuma West Municipal Director of Health Services, Valerie Osei-Tutu, emphasized that beyond raising awareness, early detection and tackling stigma are critical in the fight against sickle cell disease. For Joy News, Carlos Caloni, Dansoman.
You're watching The Pulse. Stay with me. When we return, we shall take you live to the Achimota Retail Center, where we launch this year's EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. And also, we've started the first clinic. It's all the way to Sunday, the 2nd day of June. Stay with me. We'll bring you details on that. Welcome back to The Pulse. I'll now take you live to the Achimota Retail Center, where my colleague Jacqueline Ansumaya is on standby to tell us how the atmosphere over there is at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair, our first clinic. Jacqueline, what's going on over there?
Ahiafor, good afternoon to you and our cherished viewers. I'm currently live at the Achimota Mall, where the first mini clinic of the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair is currently happening. While the atmosphere is an exciting one, we still see people trooping in. It's currently 4 p.m. now, so it's right around the time that people are closing from work and all that. But then to give us more details, I have one of the relationship managers at Multimedia, Bright Cover, to just give us more details on what to expect at this mini clinic. Right, just run us through.
Okay, so this weekend we have assembled everybody who is into the Habitat Fair space, who is providing any kind of service, selling any product relating to home ownership. You could be a prospective homeowner, or you have a home already. Everything that you need to put your home comfortable is here. Talk about security, talk about home decor, talk about electricity, talk about energy. So we have people who are vending solar systems here. We have security systems all over the place. What we can ask from our viewers is that they should come by and obtain for themselves solutions that can make their home very comfortable. In fact, one of the things that is exciting about this fair this year is that there is financing, consumer financing that EcoBank is offering. And so if you walk in and you have a problem or a need for maybe a television, or you need a appliance, or any form of consumables, you just talk to them. They have solutions for you. There is also on display the EV vehicle, which is also in partnership with EcoBank. So you can just come have a conversation with the EV dealership and take your key and your car home. EcoBank will sort the rest for you later on. I can also talk about the other aspects of the building materials if you want to build on your own. So you have the roofing systems, you have the door and the security systems, you have the sanitary ware systems. Everything that you can think of to make a home hospitable is on a display here. So viewers should walk in here. We are here from today, tomorrow, and then on Sunday, where the fair closes. Let me also add that if you are in Koforidua, please get ready. We are coming to you at Koforidua. We will be in Tema, we will be in Accra Mall, and then in October we'll crown it all at the Accra International Conference Center. Thank you.
Right, thank you very much, Bright. Bright has given us a lot of information that is going to be happening at this year's Habitat Fair. He's given us the locations that we should be expecting this year. But we want to have a fair deal. If you're prospective, homeowner like myself, I'm looking for ways on how to start my own building and all that. But then before that, I'm currently at Elegant Homes and General Constructions, and you're part of the exhibitors this year. Kindly join me here. Now, this I know this is not your first time. This is your
more than 8 times.
More than 8 times. How was last year for you?
So joining multimedia or EcoBank Habitat Fair has been quite a journey. Last year, we got some sales. We were able to get clients to generate leads, which resulted in sales. So we are hoping for meeting different prospective clients this year. And we are hoping everybody come on board, especially this first mini clinic, to come for us to discuss. We have a lot of goodies in stock this year.
So as you mean, just one sentence, when someone watching us right now, when they want to come to Elegant Homes and General Constructions, what are they expecting?
So we are giving a 10% discount this fair, and we are giving a free remote control garage. We are giving cornices, plaster boards, UPVC. We have UPVC. We have the 10% discount, as I said. We have the ceiling speakers. We have the fitted wardrobe and the kitchen. So we are encouraging everybody to come around. This year we have even new designs, off-plans designs for clients to also choose from. Yes.
All right. Well, that is from Elegant Homes and General Constructions right here at the Achimota Mall. For more details. Now, currently, we want to move to other places here. Let me get closer to, we have Safety and Homes Solutions also here at the first mini clinic. Now, when I walk here, what am I expecting? Oh, but even before you answer that, last year were you part?
Yes, we've been part of Habitat for 3 years now.
And how has it been for you?
It's been great. Actually, as we started the Habitat Fair, we were a very small company. Okay. But through Habitat Fair, we've been able to acquire bigger space.
Wow.
The growth is good. We've added more designs and also designs of our doors, and also expanded our service. We currently we do kitchens, model kitchens. We do closets, and also we do wardrobes. Sure. Yeah, we can design your living room, setup, design, all interior designs, we do it.
Okay. So real quick, are these some of the doors that you have?
Yes, these are some of our internal doors which we brought on display. Oh, okay. However, we have over 200 doors on display in our showroom on the Spinters Road. So if you come to our showroom, you have variety, which you'll be able to choose the best one which will fit your entrance.
Well, you just heard that currently right here at the Chimota Mall, this is the only place where you can get, and is there a discount?
Yes, we are giving good discounts right here, and it's only here.
Only here, they won't get that discount anyway.
That's if you come to our showroom. But anyway, if you are coming to our showroom, you just show a flyer from us, or maybe a contact of the person you meet here, and you'll be able to grab your 15% discount on any door that you select.
Wow. Well, just as you've heard from him, any door that you want, all you need is just get your contact from me, and then we would definitely, they'll give you that discount. And of course, we also have EcoBank. EcoBank is also one of the major sponsors for Joy News Habitat Fair for this year. They are currently here. So just as Brad said, if you want more details when it comes to housing, anything that you want to do, just pass by. I mean, Accra, wherever you find yourself, Achimota Mall shouldn't be too far to find. We're still around. Now, let me also move to another vendor that we have here, that we have here. That's Virtual Security Africa. Now, okay. Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
You're looking good.
Thank you, looking good too. I like your African something.
Thank you. Now, this year you've been part of Habitat Fair for quite a while now. How has the journey been for you?
Okay, so the journey has been successful. This is our 5th year on a row. Like 5 consecutive years. And we've had a lot of sales coming through. We've been able to save a lot of homes with our security products. Yes, so far so good. It's been good. Yeah.
All right. So basically, these are the security products that you have. At least I can see the whole CCTV camera.
Okay, so we have the CCTV cameras here. This is what you can see on display here. We have myself over there. Yes. This is the doorbell. Oh, okay. This is the video intercom. So unlike the traditional doorbell, when someone has to come and press, you have to come outside of your house to see who is there. This one has a monitor. So I can talk to somebody. If there's somebody standing outside, a person presses on this bell, I can talk to the person inside of my house through this.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't need to come and ask oh, who are you? Who are you looking for and all that?
No. So because of the inbuilt camera in this outdoor station, you can be able to talk to whoever is standing at your gate through this. We also have the intruder alarm system. We have the fire alarm systems also here. We have time and attendance access control. And beyond this, we have electric fencing. We have vehicle boom barriers. We have road blockers, turnstiles, anything security you will think of in your home, your office, your school, your church, any space, warehouse, store. Just come to Virtual Security Africa. Yeah.
All right. So, Ahiafor, these and many more are the stuff that are happening here. But we have DPS pipes. DPS Pipes is quite a popular name, especially when it comes to Joy News Habitats Fair. Now, DPS, it's great to see you again. How has it been? Last year, how was it for you?
Okay, so last year was very great. Yeah. And of course, it has given us some sort of market presence as well. So yes, I can say last year was great, yeah.
Okay, real quick, what should patrons coming in this weekend expect?
Charlie, first, just don't miss. You should be here. Achimota, right? Achimota Mall. So we have a lot of goodies to give you, especially our discounts, up to 15% discount. And please, your piping solutions are here, just at DPS. So just walk into our booth. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how we can fix your plumbing issue. So yes, connecting you to live as well.
Okay. Well, just as you've heard from DPS Pipe, we'll be with them this weekend. You're all giving 15% discount, so 15% discount, some 10. And I'm pretty sure when you come here, it would be probably more. But then I'm currently with another exhibitor that we have here at the mini clinic for Joy News EcoBank Habitats Fair, Ayuda Hub Limited. Hello, Ayuda Hub. Oh, can I have a seat? Okay, so what should we expect when we come here? I mean, I should have to stand up and speak.
No problem. So we operate with a digital platform called the Ayuda app. Okay. So we have designed our stalls to show the service levels when you download the app. So we have Ayuda Premium and we have Ayuda Flex.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So for the Flex, you need to negotiate the price with the artisan. The prices are not fixed, they are negotiable.
Okay, someone would be wondering, I mean, we've seen Ayuda Hub, but what does Ayuda Hub do?
So Ayuda Hub is the parent company and owner of the Ayuda app. We are into facilities, so anything concerning facilities, maintenance, we handle that.
So if I want something to be done with regarding my building and all that, all I need to do is download the Ayuda app. But then on the Ayuda app, there's a premium and there's a flex. Okay, I hope you are all following. All right, let's go.
Okay, so as I said, with a flex, the prices are negotiable. You select the kind of artisan that you want to come and render the service for you. But with a premium, the prices are fixed. And then when you make the request, it's Ayuda that manages everything for you. Okay. So that's the difference between the two.
All right, is this your first time being part of the...
This is our first time.
Okay, now how does it feel? Because this is the 16th edition of the... Yeah, this is the 16th edition. And how does it feel to be part this year?
Wow, for what I've seen so far, like I'm really loving it. I'm really loving it.
You haven't started, Impo.
We haven't started it, and I'm already loving it. It was just that the rain really spoils everything, but we are still hoping that a lot of people...
It's sunny right now. I'm sweating.
Yes.
It rained for roughly like 30 minutes. It was like some blessings.
So we are really expectant. We are hoping that people can come and just find out what the Ayuda app is all about, and then just download the app and then request for services.
Okay, all right. So you heard that from Ayuda app. It's still happening right here at the mini clinic at Achimota Mall. All you have to do is just pass by and make inquiries when you have issues regarding maintenance of your building and all that. You just download the app and you will. So, but before I get here, let me come right here to, we have Super Locks Technologies Limited. They are also part of this year's mini clinic at Chimota. Hello, hi. So when a customer comes here, what should they expect? The best.
Yes, we give them detailed presentation of our products. We display just few of our products here. We have kitchens, wardrobes, balustrade, pergolas, garage door, but we cannot bring all here. So when you come, we give
more details of what we have, and we direct them to our showroom, which are Jowulu, Adenta, Weja, Tema, and Takwadi and Kumasi. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any discounts, special discounts?
Yes, currently we are having 20% discounts on our glazing and kitchens and wardrobes, and also 15% on some of our new collection of security doors. Yeah.
So mainly Super Locks Technologies Limited has to do with locks and
security doors, internal doors, balustrade. We do carports, pergolas. Initially, we started with just locks and security doors, but now, being innovative company, we keep giving our clients what they want. So we look across and what's really is trending in their country, we bring on board.
Okay, all right. We get to see you tomorrow and talk to you. You just heard her. I told you someone is giving 20% discount, and you just heard that, right? So there's 10, there's 15, there's 20. I'm hoping to hear the 30% discount. Now, currently, I'm at the Builders Market. Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so what do we have? I mean, but first of all, is this your first time being part of the...
We've been with Multimedia Joy Prime for 5 years now.
And how has the journey been?
The experience is very splendid, very wonderful. I mean, it's been amazing getting more customers there. It's so nice. So we look forward in partnering with you people for long. I mean, It's a good initiative, trust me.
Wow, guys, you've heard it. Now, this year, what do you have in store for your customers coming around? This is just the first mini clinic.
Yeah. So this time we came out with the rimless WC. WC, which is rimless. It means they have no rims inside. Yeah, this right, WC. Okay. Yeah, it's rimless. So it means they have no rims inside. Right. So after using, you can just take off this side and control it without any stains being inside. And one funny thing and one good thing about this thing is just take 1.5 liters of water to do the flashing. So after just using it, just 1.5 liters of
water. Everything that enters just need 1.5 liters?
It will go everything. I don't want to mention it, but everything that enters. Trust me, even a human being enter 1.5 will push the person down.
I hope you are listening. If you have more questions, you need to pass by here tomorrow and Sunday.
And you know what? Anybody that comes away will be a special package, a special. I don't want to spell it out, but just come in.
I want to know my discount is 30%.
I can give you 40.
Guys, you heard that. I told me
for you yourself. But when they come, there's a nice package for them as well. Okay. And you see, with Builders Market, what we do is we redefine your washroom. So no matter the space of your washroom, we give you something nice that fits your washroom. So anything washroom gets it right. Just come with your budget.
And
these are we have the single basins and the double basins. These ones are the showers. We have the single, we have the double overhead showers and everything. So everything about washroom, we have the enclosures, everything. We just want to redefine your space. So regardless of your budget, just visit Builders Market and you never regret visiting us. Our showroom is also located at North Kaneshi, close to Mazuba Nelson Sports Complex, and also Ashaman as well. Yeah, sure.
Now, I know you said it earlier, but just for emphasis, you said you've been with the Joy News EcoBank Habitat Fair for 5 years now. Do you think it has, boosted your business in any way? Because speaking to most of the vendors around who have taken part in all the previous Habitat Fair, all that they have been saying is that it's been a great, exposure for them when it comes to their business. What do you also have?
Yeah, trust me, it has been a good journey. Because we wouldn't have come this time around if we are not soliciting or getting any good something in return. It has been a massive change since we partner with Joy Prime, and we look forward to partner with you people. We are going to Koforidua. We are coming.
We're going everywhere.
We are coming. We are coming.
We are coming. So just as you heard from the Builders Market, they are coming with us everywhere. But you watching us right now, all you need to do is just pass by. We just started. It's today. They're not closing now. Roughly by 8 p.m. they should be packing up and leaving. But don't forget that if you don't make it here, you can still make it here hopefully tomorrow. So we're still here. The whole team here is exciting. We have Lexus Bill and the whole team here just trying to make everything fun. Now we also have the Drive EV Ghana, and we'll also be speaking to them pretty shortly. But they are being engaged right now. So let's move to other vendors around. There's also Pegasus Realty Ghana. Let's also move closer to engage them. Hello, Pegasus. Hi. I want to speak to one of you. Can one of you join me here? Oh. Now you're currently live on Joy News. And now when any customer or anybody watching us right now, when they come to Pegasus, royalty, what should they expect?
Okay, sorry. So Pegasus, we are marketing the Palladium Residence. It's a project that we are on, and then it comprises of from 1 to 3 bedroom houses, and then we have our townhouses, which comprise also of 3 bedroom and then 4 bedroom houses. And so we are here for you.
Any special discounts?
Currently, we are not running any special discounts. Yeah.
You're going to be giving special services and all that.
Yeah. So you just come. We will give you the special services that you need.
All right. So that is from Pegasus Realty Ghana. Now we also have Move Now Limited. They are also right here at the first mini clinic happening right now at the Achimota Mall. Now, Move Now. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm good. Now today we just started. It was launched some hours ago. How are you feeling about this first mini clinic?
I'm feeling awesome about this first mini clinic, and today happened to be our first time as Move Now Limited.
That's nice. Yes. So do you have any expectations?
Yes, we have a lot of expectation to meet more of our target market here, to sell more of our services onto them, and also expect them to return back to us. Yes.
Okay. So now, Move Now, what are you into?
We are into relocation, home office, and we also provide storage services, short and long term, as well as export parking. Export parking is for individuals like expats who are relocating back into their country. We help pack their things for them. So that's for the export part. We also provide packaging materials.
If I'm moving from Canada to Ghana, for now.
For now.
Okay. All right. Because I wanted to get a bit clarity before someone comes into my DM. Jackie, you asked Move Now. I'm moving. So what should I do?
For now, we do the entire country, which is Ghana. And
I'm moving from Accra to like Tamale. Okay.
Yes, we do that.
At a discounted price, right?
Yes, please. And for the export package for individuals who are in Ghana and they are moving out of the country.
Okay.
Yes. So currently that is what we do.
Okay. All right. So we'll be getting interactive with Move Now. So we're still live here at the Achimota Retail Center, where the first mini clinic, the Joineys EcoBank Habitat Fair, is currently happening. It was launched some hours ago and it's going to run through from today through to tomorrow to Sunday. We've engaged with most of the exhibitors on what we should expect when you come here, if you're a homeowner and all that, what you need to know. There's a lot more in store for you. You watching us right now, you need to, wherever you're finding yourself right now, make it a point to be here this, if not tonight, this weekend, right here at the Achimota Retail Center. Over to you back in the studio, Ahiafor Akosua-Adeti.
Thank you so much, Jackie, who's bringing us how it's coming to life at the Achimota Retail Center. And if you go there, you have so much options to choose from. Let us help you build your dream home. Now, back in the studio, the Ghana Journalists Association stands at a critical crossroad as it prepares to elect new national officers to lead the association for the next 4 years. With the June 30, 2025 polls fast approaching, the presidential race is heating up as the two front-runners crisscross the country, intensifying the final push. But what are the real issues confronting journalists nationwide? Is the membership calling for a reset or clinging to the status quo? This afternoon, I am joined on Zoom by one of the presidential aspirants, Charles Yaw-Mawusi, as we unpack his vision and why he believes he's the right man for the job. But first, let's get to know Charles Yaw-Mawusi first, and I'll be rolling a bit about him on your screen. And so our first candidate we're going to be learning about is Charles Yaw-Mawusi, as I've been telling you, born 27th May 1976, which means that he celebrated his birthday not long ago. Obviously, a Ghanaian, country of permanent residence, Ghana here. It will give us a bit more about him, about his education as well. We'll just bring you that shortly on the screen. Now, for his education, GIJ, Diploma Communication Studies, the year 2001, and Game Pass, well, where he pursued Bachelor of Public Administration That's in 2009 at the University of Education in Winneba, MA Communications Media Studies 2018, and in 2022, MPhil Strategic Communications, still in the same university. And achievements, 20 years plus of development, journalism and social communications, Executive Director, Transmedia Network, 18 years developing comm strategies for CSOs and donor projects, has led financial literacy campaign for Government of Ghana's Financial Sector Reforms Project, and continues to highlight some of his achievements, currently leading comm strategy for the Ghana Economic Transformation Project, World Bank funded clearly, developed a national comm strategy for Ghana's anti-corruption plan, produced public education materials, flyer, brochures, videos for major donor projects like USAID. Continues to say that 8 years with the Danish NGO supporting advocacy and media systems, 4 years as technical advisor, Star Ghana oversaw media work during 2012 elections, 4 years with the NIDA as well, 3 years reshaping the Busak Fund's communication, rebranding media strategy. Final leg, which I will just be telling you, trained and mentored dozens of Ghanaian journalists, which I'll be curious about to be asking him who are these journalists. Experts in rights-based communication strategies and donor governance programs, strong media network advisor to GJA and other key press groups, strong media network advisor, we'll get into that, helped develop anti-corruption strategy for the Judicial Service of Ghana. And finally, maybe TV3 Star Ghana Mission Program concepts, some of the things, the key media activities that he's been engaged in, strengthening transparency, accountability, and responsiveness in Ghana, Star Ghana Project, and SNV Netherlands Development Organization Voice for Change Program. At IFC World Bank Warehouse Receipt System, trained over 300 journalists on advocacy reporting and content creation for public awareness. World Bank Greater Accra Metropolitan Assembly project trained more than 60 journalists as well in that. And finally, if you do not recall anything about Malsi, you should remember that Transmedia Network consultant and director. He also was at the Danish NGO IBIS West Africa Media and Communications Officer between the year 2004 and 2008. IBIS West Africa, a Danish NGO, again, information assistant, worked with the communications and media officer as well. And a little later in our conversation, we'll have some journalists from across the country joining the conversation to ask their own questions. But thank you for joining us. Which one would you like to be called, Mausi or Charles? Please unmute if you can hear me.
Charles is fine.
Charles is fine. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
please.
So let's start with the current assessment of the Ghana Journalists Association first as an entity. What's your current assessment of it?
Well, I think the association at the moment needs rescue. I think the association at the moment needs to be revived. I think the association at the moment needs capacity building to strengthen the skills at the secretariat. I think the association at the moment needs to strengthen its branches and chapters across the country. I think the association at the moment needs a welfare policy. I think the association at the moment needs innovation and new ideas that would help strengthen the welfare system in terms of investment. I think the association needs ideas as to rehabilitate the secretariat that was handed over to us many years ago. And these are many other things that I think the association at the moment is begging for. Right. And again, before I forget, MFR, the association also needs to revive interest of journalists in the association.
Okay. I mean, before we get into rescue, because I'm quite interested in what you're rescuing it from, What's your assessment of the current president?
Well, I think the current president has done what he could do. We all have our capacities and our experience. We all have our path of career in the profession. Journalism and media is a broad area. He has done his part, and I think that based on his capacity, his experience, his character, this is how far he could bring the association. Therefore, he has done his part. It will be good for somebody else with deeper understanding of capacity building, issues of welfare, administrative and managerial skills that will strengthen the workings of GJA, both at the Secretariat and also across the regions.
All right, Charles. So would you say that the current president has chalked any success at all?
Well, he has done some things, but it's, for me, it's kind of like a mixed bag. For example, the African Journalist Convention, that was a very successful assignment he conducted. And of course, that is a visible thing that he has done. But that assignment is also kind of like shrouded with issues of accountability. And it borders on issues of transparency and accountability. Again, I also think that being not able to organize a successful AGM is not good enough. So I think he has done some things, and I think there's more to be done.
Let's talk more about the transparency, accountability before we ask the overall question. Maybe I should dare ask, has he failed at all? Has he failed?
Well, that is a tricky one. I wouldn't say he has failed, but speaking to journalists across, interacting with colleague journalists, I realized that there's a cry for transparency, credibility, and accountability.
What do you say transparency and accountability? Explain.
The way the association is run, issues of finance, issues of accountability, and even recently there was a report that we could not file audited accounts at the Registrar General. There are issues of tax that we have to deal with GRA with. And these are all things that I think borders on good governance, accountability, and transparency.
Right. Would you cite at least an example? Because then that is a bit broad. That's quite overall. Transparency, accountability. If you can just lead me or pin me to one particular thing that you can think that, well, no, in your view, not per the report, in your view, you'd say that he hasn't been transparent.
Well, I think being not able to organize AGM is one of the things that I think he hasn't done well.
Okay. Okay. Do you recall the purpose of the GJA and when it was set up? The purpose?
Well, the purpose for GJA is to take care of journalists, protect the interests of journalists, and expand the frontiers of press freedom and freedom of speech to encourage that journalists work freely in a non-intimidated manner. Mm. So it has to do basically about welfare of our association.
Would you say that from the time that it was created, it has achieved that object?
Yes, actually, from the time GJA has been created, we saw significant progress in the days where we had leadership that could roar to protect the journalists. We saw leaders of GJA who actively worked hard to bring the association to some level. But what we have seen over the years, when I was a young journalist those days, I don't think I'm seeing that now. And there is a need for us to restore those olden days glory and then improve upon it.
Okay. I've read your profile extensively, but let's talk about you and the GJA itself. When did you join the association?
I joined GJA in the year 2010. But you know, from GIJ, when you finish school after 1 year, you start paying dues as a member. So I started from the year 2004 as a member, but somewhere along the line, the membership, my regularity with membership was not active. But in 2010, I revived my membership and I started working actively with GJA from the year 2010.
Okay. You want to share with me some of the activities that you have been working with them, as you have said, actively?
Yes. I'll give you a few examples, MFR, because I've done a lot of work with GJA behind the scenes. You know, if you remember in 2012, there was some media activity in the 2012 elections. I was then the technical advisor for media and communication for Star Ghana. That was my creation. As Star Ghana, we identified the media as a civil society organization which should also apply for funding for activities during the 2012 elections. But at the end of the deadline, there was no application from any media house. So I have to suggest to my team that we need to invite the media one-on-one, including the GJA and other 11 media organizations, including multimedia. We engaged with staffs from these institutions. I helped develop the concept notes that enabled them to receive funding to do the activities. I was the one who worked with all the staff of these institutions behind the scene to implement the various projects that led to peace and stability during the 2012 election. You know, towards the 2012 election, you may recall that that was where we have issues like all die be die if we don't win Afghanistan. This actually triggered the fear for Star Ghana to embark on peace promotion mission, which I was strongly involved developing the concept note for all these organizations, working closely with all of them, including GJA. Now, beyond that, I was involved with Busak Fund as the technical advisor for media and communication. And my role there, I recommended that the project work with the media wing or the media stream of the advocacy. We work with GJA. And Busak Fund 1 and 2, I was involved in the design and implementation of that assignment.
Okay.
So beyond that, however, can I go on or you want to ask a question?
Maybe proceed and land. And why I almost interjected, which I'm actually doing now, will be that
okay, let me quickly
maybe wrap on that.
Okay. In 2016, what we did for all the media organizations, GJA wanted to do a similar thing in 2016 elections. I left Star Ghana because then we ended the phase 1. So the phase 2, I was not part of the phase 2 team. Leadership of GJA approached me. I developed the concept note and the proposal for that assignment, which could have earned GJA $55,000 to do different activities around 2016 election. The proposal was passed, but GJA could not pass through the due diligence stage. The due diligence stage denied us that access. And the due diligence stage involved looking into your books, your financial management, your audited accounts, how checks are issued, payment processes. When that was conducted, we could not pass. So I advised GJA strongly that let us build capacity of the staff. Let us strengthen systems within the organization that would enable us to pass this kind of test in the future.
Okay, Charles. So it appears to me that most of your activities which you're highlighting are quite third party, which maybe you may have to let me understand. It looks like it's not directly with the GJA, it will be through another medium. I'd be happy if you're able to...
No, not exactly. MFR.
Okay. If you make it not easier, exactly. I would want to just, by the end of this interview, just pick up directly. GJA's activities, which one of them you've been actively involved in since you joined 2010? And it's okay to limit the joining at 2010 because you were quite not active prior to that, right?
Well, if you say I was not quite active before 2010, fine.
No. From your own words, you said from 2004 you were quite irregular. Are we on the same page on that?
Yeah, right.
Okay. So is it okay if we limit it to 2010, or you want us to expand the conversation to when you were irregular?
Exactly.
Okay.
So from 2010, I was involved in all the key projects that BUSAC Fund had ever implemented. And I have mentioned these two key projects because the concept note development, the implementation of these activities, work plan, budget management, how do they carry out the activities, the reporting to the donor and all that. I was involved. I did these jobs for GJA without any fee from GJA. I did it as a member of the association.
Okay. That is very straight to the point and a bit more clear. Would you say that from 2010 to now, and this way just trying to understand your role very proper, especially because of the role that you want to take on, would you say that you have been actively paying your dues? Have you ever faltered? Do you owe dues anyway?
No, I have not owed dues. And it is very interesting that the news is going around that I was nearly disqualified because I owed dues. No, never at all, MFA. I am an individual person that if that calls the treasurer, pursue her, where is the Momo number for me to pay dues? And eventually I have to drive to the center to go and pay my dues. Just this year, I was there in March. And as at the time I went in March to pay my dues up to June, that time I've not even decided to contest. So I drive there, I paid my dues. I don't owe any dues at all. But the news going around, and I know that this is an election, and people would want to discredit their opponent. But if I had owed dues, I'm not sure I would have been published in the earlier list that members of good standing. But I'm a member of a good standing, so my name was on the list. Only for me to go through the vetting process, and for the news to be out there that they were going to disqualify me because I owed dues, which I couldn't really fathom. But in any case, there are other contestants that they have disqualified. They didn't even accept their nomination because they said they were not paying dues. Okay. So how come my nomination was accepted? I went through vetting, and only for the news I was passed, and only for the news to be going around that I owe. Well, MFA, as I speak to you now,
you do not
I owe no dues.
That's good to know. Because you've talked about dues, let's stay on that a little bit. It is quite a concern for members. What would you do with it? Currently, many are asking, should it be paid cumulatively? I mean, of course, because the union would need money to be running, like as an entity. Should dues be paid cumulatively, or you have otherwise another means which you think should be done?
Well, on the issues of dues, you heard me just mention that I have to call the treasurer just to be looking for the number that I could pay my dues through. And I have to drive all the way to press center to go and pay dues of 50 cedis. The fuel that I spend is even more than the dues that I'm going to pay. So I am thinking that we need to look at the due payment system. Now we have platforms that could digitally allow us to pay our dues easily. I don't need to go there, because one of the problems about dues payment is that majority of my colleagues are not able to pay because they don't have a clear pathway of pushing the money to the association. We need to work on that, because if you don't make payment easier or easy for our members, then it's going to frustrate them if they have to do things like that. That is why when I drove there in March, I decided to pay even in advance, because I was not sure when I'll pass through again and to go and pay dues. So simplifying the process, I think, is a way to go.
Okay, so for you, in terms of dues, it's not a matter of cumulatively or not. It's for them to simplify the process and make people, help people to be able to pay easily.
Exactly.
Beyond the dues, what exactly is wrong with the GJA that you think you want to fix? You have mentioned that you want to rescue it. At the end of the conversation, we'll know. I'd invite my colleague journalists to actually ask you a few questions. They are on the line. But you have mentioned rescue. What are you rescuing it from? It's under a current leadership. You have mentioned that he has done some. But what are you rescuing the GJA from?
There is a technical capacity gap at the Secretariat. There is a financial management processes gap at the Secretariat. There is apathy among members. These are things that I think we need to work on.
Okay, so beyond that, everything else is okay. But you have advised...
No, beyond that, MFA, beyond that, we need to have a welfare policy.
Okay, that I recall you mentioned. Yeah, you've mentioned that. But yes, you have mentioned that you have advised the GJA for some time now. Why aren't you staying being a technical advisor than wanting to be a president?
Well, where we have gotten to now, there are so many issues that I think my technical expertise, clothed in the capacity as a leader of the association, that is where we can get things done. If you are advising and the advice is not being taken, and we see the gaps that I am talking about widening and widening by the day, there is a need for me to step in and see whether, and plead for members to give me the chance so that we can do things differently. That will in turn benefit all members of the association.
Right, Charles, stay with me because joining me now via Zoom are my colleagues from the Volta region, McLean Kwame Noje and Anas Sabit, as well from the Bono East, Frederick Entry as well, both from the Bono East, joining me to ask you a few questions, which I'll also be joined by my colleague from Eastern region, Neil Ni Kanaku as well. So thank you, gentlemen. You all have the opportunity to ask Charles one question. Let me go to the Volta region. Yes, I'm biased. McLean, go on with your question.
Yeah. All right. Quite an impressive profile from of our leader, or our aspiring president, Mr. Charles Mausi. I know some work has been done regarding the safety and security of members. What would he be doing differently this time to improve on that?
Okay, MFA, should I answer?
Please. Well, let's take, if you can just take the questions, you can note them down. I'll take note as well. Security of journalists. I'd go to Anas Sabit. Anas, if you can ask him your question.
Thank you so much, MFA. And once again, let me thank Mausi for, letting us know what he is up to so far as the leadership of our association is concerned. My question is on the welfare of journalists across the country. We know most of our colleagues across board are not well paid, and we have issues in some areas with regards to even journalists not, registered with SNIT and what have you. What journalists receive in the country is nothing to write home about, and it is one of the reasons why you find journalists struggling, and the most experienced ones most of the times, bow out when they get a better, paying job, and that is actually affecting journalism in Ghana as a whole. So when you get in, what measures are you going to put in place to ensure that journalists are well taken care of by their employers, and to change the status quo, the narration, as to how we are currently treated across board?
Right, and thank you. We'll still stay in the Bono East and invite Frederick Entry to ask his question.
Thank you, MFA. My question is, I want to know what Mr. Mausi is going to do to our retirees, old journalists that has retired and are suffering from various diseases and other incapacitation. What is he going to do to help them out from such situation?
Very good question, Frederick. Charles, you may want to attempt to answer these questions.
Thank you, Ahiafor. First of all, let me start with the first question first. Safety and security. You know, at the moment, we have a team of lawyers, including Ahiafor, your own Samson, who has been fighting on issues of attack, legal issues for the association on free basis. They are not paid. We need to commend them. But beyond this team of lawyers, I think we need to review the work that Samson and Co have been doing, what is working well for the association as far as their work is concerned, where are the gaps, what do we need to do? On top of my head, before even the review, I foresee that there is a need for us to expand that and turn it into a committee that has to be working regularly with a desk officer. And this desk officer would follow up on each case day by day and report to us, whereby we have to follow up with action. Because what is currently happening is that the issues on the attack, when it happens, we report it, we talk about it 3 days, 4 days, then we leave it there. When the World Press Freedom Day is getting closer, we have a press conference to talk about it. If we are told that the docket is at Attorney General's office, we leave it there. We come back, we report it, we leave it there. No, we need a proactive and consistent system, a mechanism that will follow up on each of these cases, because if we don't follow up to pursue the prosecution to its logical conclusion, other people will be motivated to continue the attack on us. Secondly, the people who are perpetrating these attacks on us fall largely within two categories of stakeholders. We have the security agencies attacking us. Then we also have political party activists attacking us, these two groups of people. Once we have identified them, we need to engage them by explaining to them the essence of our profession. Because if we are conducting an investigation into, for example, a road fund, and a party activist is not happy that we are doing a story around road fund, they are likely to be incited by their masters to attack us.
Okay.
But if we engage and they understand the implication and the meaning of our work and its impact on their livelihoods, I'm sure they will think twice before doing that.
Charles, unfortunately, you have less than 2 minutes to answer the other two questions.
Thank you. Then on remuneration, we need to also engage media owners to understand that if you set up a media house, the media house is to make money for you. And if we help them to understand how the media political economy operates, your content is what drives traffic to your platform. If the content creators are demoralized and you are not paying them, you are siphoning money from your own business. This understanding has to be created through engagement with media owners to understand that a well-motivated, a well-paid journalist will be able to give a better content that will attract traffic to your station or to your platform. So one, that has to be done through engagement with media managers, media owners to understand our role within the ecosystem.
Okay.
Then secondly,
are we still on the security? Are you still on the security of journalists if you'd move to the welfare and retirees?
Yes, I'm done with the security of journalists.
Okay.
So I'm now on the remuneration.
Please make the two brief.
Okay. So the remuneration engagement with media owners to understand our role and how it affects traffic and its implication for adverts. That is a whole engagement we need to do. Then secondly, GJA has actually unionized, but that agenda is not completed. We need to go ahead and get the bargaining certificate, which will give us the legal backing to kind of like advocate and argue for better remuneration for our members, our retirees. However, for lack of time, we need to strengthen the regions to work. those retirees that could work can man our regions and be active. We need to have projects that the retirees can play critical roles together with our practicing members. We need our welfare policy to spell out what we have to do for our retirees. So all these things will be in the welfare as to how we intend to take care of our retirees. So at this point, for lack of time, I would want to pause here. If you have any other questions, we pick it from the MFR.
All right, Charles, but for time, you would have 30 seconds to tell us some messages to convince people to choose you. And while you're at it, do you have a copy of the GJA Constitution?
Yes, I do.
But for sadly, it's hard to find, not even on the website. You want to take a look at that. Lucky you have it. But please give us your closing, shall I say, address?
Well, colleague journalists, this election should not be treated as business as usual. This election, I'm offering myself with turnaround strategies and plans that will help all of us as journalists. It is about our welfare. It is about our capacity building. It is about our protection through effective mechanisms. It is about enhancing the press center. It is about ideas
and
Charles. Opportunities that we can all work together to improve our livelihoods.
Thank you so much.
So kindly vote for Charles Mausi.
Thank you very much, Charles Mausi, for joining us, one of the GJ aspirants. We'll bring you a series of that. Thank you for joining us as well on The Pulse today. And please visit the Achimota Retail Center, where the EcoBank Joy News Habitat for Affairs Clinic is happening all the way to the 22nd day of June on Sunday. I'm Ahiafor. Please log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. Thank you for watching.